for you, what does it mean to be a chiropractor?
Love that question. It's honestly treat the whole body. A lot of people come to their chiropractors for pain. And so you start with that. I definitely want to cater my future practice to not only fixing pain, but fixing the reason behind pain.
Right.
A lot of times it's to do with movement patterns and figuring out how to fix movement patterns, whether it's strengthening muscles or stretching muscles. We now live in a society where we sit more than we stand. We're on phones, tablets, computers all the time. That's
Yeah.
not natural, and that creates crazy movement patterns that your body just cannot adapt to
Yeah.
without feeling a strain somewhere.
Yeah.
And so for me personally as a chiropractor, I want to do more than just the adjustment, more than just get you out of pain. I want that longevity of health realistically.
I've heard of different schools of thought when going into chiropractic care. So can you kind of walk us through, what that school of thought is taught at UWS, and I don't know, your take on it?
Yeah, it's that honestly could be a podcast in itself,
Yeah.
to be honest, but chiropractic is hopefully changing for the better moving forward. UWS takes a patient-centered, whole body, evidence-based approach. So, just to kind of break that down, and what that means is a lot of people think of chiropractors as only being spine doctors and only doing adjustments.
Right.
We can do so much more than that. We learn so much more than that. I've learned all the pathology and physiology systems, and it takes all of that to be able to call yourself a doctor at the end of the program.
Yep.
And I truly want to know that what I'm learning and what I'm practicing has evidence behind it. I don't want to just follow a philosophy regardless of how old it is if
Yeah.
there's nothing to kind of back that up.
Right.
And so, I mean, that means that maybe my practice will constantly be changing.
Yeah.
And I hope so. I hope to keep up to date with the literature. And there are some chiropractic schools that maybe don't focus on that as much, and they focus a little bit more on the roots of chiropractic and where it came from in that spine and line model.
Yeah.
And UWS, they teach that. They teach the history of that and
Right.
why we believe that. And it's, to be honest, you have to learn it because that's why chiropractic exists today, is
Makes
that
sense. Yeah.
it worked at one point and that's what they thought. It's just that now the evidence is showing that it's still helpful. There's still lots that we can do as a chiropractor to treat
Yeah.
pain and injury and occasionally illness, but maybe not in the way that the founders thought.
Interesting.
Mhm.
So it was shocking to me going, to some of the chiropractors early on when I've been injured, and then primarily focusing on the back and only doing adjustments. And other chiropractors that I've been to, as I've been bobsledding for a little bit now, where you might just get banged up a little bit more than just the back. So you might, it was to my surprise that some of the chiros out there, they're going to help your back. But then you're also going to work on your glutes, your quads, and then your feet, and then your calves. And you're like, oh, interesting how they're all connected. And that kind of blew my mind that chiros like even knew how to do that, because I've only ever been used to and been in the thought process that, all right, chiropractors, that just means they work on your back. If you
Mhm.
have any other injury, you should go somewhere else.
Yeah, and I would say that that's a misconception that lots of chiropractors now are trying to change, especially
Right.
like you said, even if you have back pain, we are trained to figure out why you have back pain. And a lot of
Right.
times it's from somewhere else in the kinetic chain. So a
Yeah.
different spot in the body could be causing compensation or something, and you just happen to feel it in your back. Like that's just where your brain receive pain signals from.
Right.
But lots of other things can contribute to back pain, or lots of biomechanical things can contribute to back pain,
Right.
which is definitely something that I also picked up through Kintech, my
Yeah.
time there. And it is something that isn't necessarily taught in a lot of detail in school because there's not always patterns. You just have to get really good at palpating, really good at feeling the entire body, the joints, how they move, the muscles, what their resting tone is, patient responses, listening to their their history when you're taking it and figuring out what movements cause pain. What have you been doing in your life that aggravated this, that caused this? And that's not necessarily something that can be taught, but you can be
Yeah.
given the tools to know how to look for that. And that's something that I definitely strive to do.